Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, I'm going to be reviewing a martial arts film again. I just figured I would do that, why not? I've reviewed plenty and I've had plenty more to review. It's called The Protector, the first one of course. So, yeah, it's going to be one of the more modern day, I guess, Kung Fu features. And one of the few that I actually liked. Even though even the vast majority of modern day Kung Fu movies I don't like at all. That's why I don't really talk about that much. But anyway, this is one of the few occasions I will, I guess. Anyway, as usual, I have to talk about the plot. So let's just dive right into it, shall we? So yeah, things get serious rather fast, of course. And yeah, there's some bad people he has to, our main character has to beat up. And all this pretty much stems from the fact that, the whole elephant bit and whatnot. So basically going on this action adventure because of the elephant, I guess you could say. It kind of reminds me of the whole thing with John Wick too, because he has a dog. But yeah, that pretty much motivated him because the elephant's supposed to be like something of importance and whatnot, obviously. But of course, some people decide to pretty much fuck with the elephant, and he decides to fuck right back. So yeah, which sends him to this journey, I guess you could say. He has to go to a bunch of different areas, of course. He must go to Australia to receive his stolen elephants, and of course, it's not exactly as easy as it seems. Of course, I mean there was some help, I guess, with some detective or whatever that must look in all places and whatnot. But there's also this gang that's been led by this evil woman and her deadly bodyguards and whatnot. So of course, he must go to various different areas and beat up a bunch of people, and yeah. So yeah, of course, there's gonna be plenty of action to be had here, obviously. So, but yeah, he's supposed to be looking over these elephants and whatnot. And traditionally speaking, this is what he's supposed to be doing. These elephants are supposed to help to defend the throne, so to speak. Just like war elephants or something. And I must have great care and whatnot be taken in raising them and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea, the overall concept of this. And yeah, it's fairly straightforward, I guess you would say, which in itself isn't inherently bad by any means. Its execution of the premise is like pretty good. The idea isn't bad; it's a good concept, really. And the execution actually helps it as well. Some people may argue which is more important. Maybe it's the premise or the execution. Maybe the execution more important than the idea of the story. But if you ask me, folks, both are equally as important. I mean, yes, I've seen a lot of movies out there that are pretty ridiculous in its own way, but have good execution and whatnot. Sure, maybe and movies that have over the top ideas but executed well. I've seen that happen before. But anyway, for this film, yeah, and whatnot, this is pretty much trying to be like a more grounded, more realistic kung fu movie. Yeah, I've seen some of those fantasy type stuff and this is from this genre, but this is more just trying to be more believable, more grounded, I guess you'd say. Kind of a thing going on. But yeah, yeah, it's very straightforward in a lot of ways. Which in it wasn't like I said, it doesn't have to be a bad thing really. It just depends how it's done really. But of course, we have to have them to have some opponents, some henchmen and whatnot. And even though the bad guys are being led by a woman, of course, I guess even though it might be usually a dude that's doing that, but this time it's a chick. I guess gotta change it up a little bit, I guess, from time to time. Gotta change it up a little bit. But yeah, this is a very action packed, very testosterone driven action kung fu movie. It's very violent, of course, which I don't mind. The violence in this movie is not over the top, really. I mean, okay, maybe it's a bit exaggerated, sure, okay, but it's a movie. You can elaborate a little, I guess, exaggerate just a bit, I guess you can say. But the violence was never too over the top. It never got to the point where it became goofy or anything. Thankfully. So yeah, I do appreciate it. Yeah, it got very violent, but it was never up to the point where it became laughable. What I mean is that it was never like you guys remember the Family Guy parody of Kill Bill. You know how over the top and goofy that was. So yeah, you think about that. So Yeah. So at least, I guess you can say, when it comes to violence, this movie doesn't do it like that. I guess you can say, thankfully, that would sort of take me out of the mood. Is what I'm saying. So I guess that's something I suppose. It was never like that kind of violence in that sort of way. I think if they'd done it, it would have lose its impact in some ways. I guess you would say. I don't know, maybe just me. I guess whatever. But yeah, thankfully it doesn't do that. The fight scenes, of course, are really well choreographed. This really reminds me of the old school kung fu movies. Well, it's not extremely choppy. Yeah, it's not really choppy. It's all in one long take, and I like that. I really like that. I do miss that kind of a thing. So when you have the long takes of those fight scenes, that really surprised me because you rarely see that in the more modern day kung fu features nowadays. That seems to be a rare thing because a lot of action movies, even if they're not kung fu, the action movies seem to be extremely choppy, which I have to admit is really annoying. So yeah, it's just I notice a lot of the martial art films nowadays is extremely choppy. I mean, really choppy. You have to cut, edit with basically every movement, every bowel movement they would have. Come on, at least this movie doesn't do that. At the very least, yeah, chop editing, huh? But anyway, this one's actually pretty good, folks. I actually liked it. So I'll give this film a pretty good watch. I've actually watched this quite a few times. Anyway, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. And the acting is actually pretty good too. Anyway, I'll give this film an overall rating of a 7.3 out of 10. It gets a 7.3 out of 10 for me. And of course, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah.